What is up? It's Blaire. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, happy Saturday. Hope you're all having a great weekend so far. Yes, as you can see, I'm not like ready to film yet. I'm straight out of the shower because I'm going to be jumping off of here and going on to IG and doing an IG live with a friend where we're going to do a full like makeup transformation. So I didn't want to spend like 2 hours doing my face just to take it all off again. So we're going to get into this video because Blaire White recently came out with another YouTube video which was called, oh, the trans community are mad at me, what's new, or something very similar to that. The video was called. Now, Blaire White is someone that I've spoken about on this channel before because Blaire has sometimes very controversial views when it comes to trans issues, trans rights. Blaire politically, I think, does lean more kind of right-wing, whereas I don't. So sometimes when Blaire makes these kind of videos, I have opinions that differ to Blaire, things that I don't agree with that she says. So we're going to get into it a little bit. So Blaire made this video reacting to TikToks where non-binary people and other people had, made TikToks talking about their gender identities and stuff. Blaire was reacting to it. And honestly, some of Blaire's opinions were a little bit much for me. Some points in the video I did agree with Blaire though, so we're going to get into that. First of all, I've taken a little clip of Blaire where Blaire is talking about pronouns in this video. Blaire, I think, gets a lot of flack from people on TikTok and across social media for kind of trying to say that non-binary people don't exist, that non-binary gender is invalid and all of this kind of stuff. Blaire does get a lot of flack for that. In this video, Blaire was trying to defend herself, saying, oh, I do think non-binary people are valid.
I said all that to say that sometimes you have to be accepting of people in your family who are having a hard time as well, and you might not want to hear it, but especially with they, them pronouns, because for 99% of the population, it is unnatural to say they, them in reference to someone whose sex you are aware of, and when they're one person. You can argue it down all you want, but that's just not how most people speak.
Okay, so at this point in Blaire's video, this is something that I do kind of agree with Blaire on because this is where I am right now in my own personal life. I identify as non-binary. I've said it many times over here on my channel, so I'm sure it's not going to be a surprise to any of you guys to hear that. But I identify as non-binary, but of course my family are transphobic and also they've been homophobic when I've brought a girlfriend home before. So for me, it's a big no-no. It's a conversation that I can't have with my family because of their views on trans people and their views on queer people. It's not a conversation that I'm able to sit down and have with my family. Unfortunately for me, I live with my family. So it's just the way it is. I just have to accept it, that my family are going to use she, her pronouns for me when that's not what I want. I go by they, them. But for my family, they're using she, her because that's how they know me and they don't want to accept me any other way. But then the problem with Blaire's video is, after trying to say that she does think non-binary people are valid and all of that, because otherwise how would she address us? After saying all of that stuff and reacting to people's TikToks, Blaire then went on to say, oh, people use labels like non-binary and other types of labels for their gender identity to feel like they're part of something, to feel like they're special. It's people who are very unhappy in their lives, people who are very depressed, and this is why they do it. So after saying that we're valid, Blaire then went on to completely contradict herself by saying, oh, people do that to make themselves seem special or interesting or whatever. In my case, it's certainly not I use the label non-binary to make myself sound more interesting or to fall in with a trend or to try and fit in with people. Me being non-binary has been part of my gender journey. Growing up, I was always very, very unsure of my gender. When I was a lot younger, I thought I was trans. I thought I was a boy. Just to put it out there for you bluntly, I thought I was a boy. I used to dress like a tomboy as well, and it was just how I was. I thought I should have been a boy. I thought I was meant to be a boy. And for a long time growing up, I've been very uncomfortable in my gender identity. And honestly, you can probably tell it's something that's still kind of difficult for me to talk about because it is personal, you know, and I feel that everybody's gender journey is personal. And whenever I speak about gender on here on my YouTube channel, what happens is I tend to get a lot of people who are either hardcore Blaire White stans come over to my channel and tell me that I'm wrong, or I get a lot of right-wing people come over here and leave their comments about, oh, you can't be non-binary because non-binary isn't valid, you have to pick one gender, and all of this kind of stuff. You know, we're never going to move forward if we don't have these conversations. You know, I'm here as a 38-year-old person who identifies as non-binary, and I am valid in that. You know, I don't care what anybody else says, I am valid in that. Despite the fact that my own family don't accept it, it doesn't make me any less valid.
Honest view of it is people who are very, very uncomfortable with themselves and looking for any sort of word or any sort of label, any sort of group they can attach themselves to validate their feelings of themselves. And what you learn when you get older is that it's very unhealthy to seek validation from other people. You can only find it within yourself and the very few people around you that you love.
And again, this was another little point where I did actually agree with Blaire. You know, it's about you validating yourself, you know, more than anything else. But you know, if you're like me, where you're in a situation where your family don't see you as valid and things, it can be very challenging. When you experience things like gender dysphoria and all of this stuff, it can be very challenging because your family don't know what you're going through. They can't relate to what you're going through. And I'm not even just talking about me here. You know, I'm talking about anybody else who's like me. You know, anybody who gets bullied over their gender identity, or anyone who's at the beginning of their transition who gets bullied or misgendered or anything like that. You know, I'm talking about everybody in general. At the end of the day, I'm not somebody who is miserable, unhappy, hating myself. You know, I love myself as I am. I accept myself as a non-binary entity. I love, you know, me for me. Are there things that I would like to change about my body physically? Yes, you know, things like having top surgery, because for me, that's something that I do have gender dysphoria over, you know, and gender dysphoria, it's a tricky one. It never really kind of goes away. It comes and goes for me, you know, but everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is personal to them. But I would definitely say that Blaire's opinion that people only identify as non-binary or other gender labels for external validation, no, that I don't agree with. That I really don't agree with. That little bit, no. You know, that's certainly not why I identify as non-binary. I don't do it for validation from other people. And I'm sure a lot of other non-binary people out there that I know are also in the same boat. You know, they don't identify as non-binary to seem cool or for external validation. They just don't. You know, and for Blaire to say that, I think that is a kind of generalization, a kind of broad generalization. You know, you've got to let people go through their own gender journeys and find out their own gender identity on their own. You know, you can't tell people, oh, you're only doing this because it seems cool, or you're only doing this because you want to fit in with a crowd, or you're only doing this to get external validation. You can't tell people the reasons why they fall under the trans umbrella. You know, you can't tell people why that is. Everyone is different. Everybody's journey is personal to them. Okay, so I'm going to be moving on to a slightly different topic now. Same kind of subject though. Jeffree Star recently called out homophobia. There was an incident at a school in the States where a student was sat eating lunch with a pride flag on their back. Some other students went up and they whipped the pride flag off of this kid, and it was horrible to watch. Honestly, I'm gonna pop the clip in here for you guys to see, but it was horrible to watch. It was very, very kind of disturbing, and honestly, I hate seeing this kind of things myself. But I'm going to put the clip in here because I think it's important that we talk about this stuff, you know, especially as queer people. It's important for us to talk about hate crimes against our community. Following on from that attack, the guy was actually caught and he was charged. Now, I don't know if that's satisfactory enough for everybody, because on Twitter, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing people calling this out and saying that this guy should be expelled from the school, should be taken off all the sports teams he's on and everything like that. Of course, you know, it would be wonderful to think, you know, that could happen. But will it? No, probably not. Apparently, the student who did this, the student who went up to the other one and whipped the pride flag off him and threw it in the bin and all of that, apparently that student did this as a dare, and what he got out of it, $5 measly. Huh? So you did something homophobic, which you've now been charged for $5 fucking. I hope it was worth it. At the time of me making this video, the school had actually spoken to the press, sort of saying, oh, well, you know, the guy's been charged and that's that. They didn't take it any further than that. There was no more kind of official news or word from the school on this. But it turns out that this high school, where this incident happened, also allegedly covered up a murder of another student. The fact that it took for that little video to go viral on social media before that high school would do anything about the hate crime, that's fucking disgusting. That is shocking. You know, that's kind of sick to me that it took a video of somebody doing something homophobic to another student to go viral on social media before the school did anything about it. Like, you know, I understand kids are going to be kids and there's going to be a bit of bullying and a bit of this and that at school. But when you're talking about, you know, hate crimes against queer people and stuff, like, protect the gay students, protect the queer students, you know, realise that this is not okay. You know, you've got to start with the kids. You've got to teach the kids that this isn't okay. This behaviour isn't okay. You know, because adults and people older than me, they're all set in their ways and they have their views, their opinions, their minds made up about things already. But if we can get in and teach teenagers and children that this isn't the way to behave, then hopefully we can move forward in a better, more tolerant, more accepting society. You know, you would hope, right? And speaking of being more tolerant, more accepting and homophobia, something else that I'm going to pop in this video, something that I saw on social media, was Ellis Atlantis on IG. Ellis Atlantis, if you don't know, was the winner of Glow Up BBC Season 1 in this country, here in the UK. Fantastic makeup artist. Fantastic drag queen. So Ellis Atlantis put this out on social media. He put up a reel, and then there were comments that were coming in that were all kinds of homophobic about this reel. So it's like somebody's in drag and what? You just go on there to shame them. Oh, I hope your mum's proud of you and all this kind of like backhanded stuff that's just shameful and nasty. And why are you laughing at somebody showing you a fabulous drag transformation? I don't get it. I really, really do not get that at all. Like, the fact that we're in 2021 and we're still dealing with this kind of behaviour is gobsmacking to me. Especially like in the UK, we still have homophobia here, you know. Talking about trans issues is one thing, but we're still fucking dealing with homophobia. So I'm like, what's going on? You know, there's so much, it seems, in the world that is going a little bit backwards right now, you know, with the abortion law in Texas and everything like that as well. I'm quite scared, genuinely, for queer people, the future of queer people, with everything that is going on and all this stuff that I'm seeing on social media, like this attack at the school, Ellis Atlantis being shamed and homophobic comments under their reel and stuff. I'm like, what is this? You know, what is this mess? Sort it the fuck out, guys. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop this little video right here. I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it'll be a bit of a more light-hearted, happy one next time. But for now, I'm going to leave this here. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.